Welcome all to the NFC South versus the NFL. You see it.
Yes, sir.
I'm here with my boy. I mean, we going back in the day. Mr. TJay Jones. Oh my God, my brother, man. How you been, my man?
Man, I've been just fine, man. And DJ, man, you already know, man. We talked earlier today. You know what I'm saying? We chopped it up. And it ain't never a few minute conversation anytime. 5 minutes turned into about an hour, you know what I'm saying? But look, glad to be here, man. Glad to be able to talk about this game, with one of my boys, man. I mean, we on a different side of the coin when it comes to the fandom, but we both love football, man. So I'm excited to talk about this game.
Definitely very excited. Definitely very excited to have my boy here, man. Yeah. But y'all ain't come here for that, man. Y'all ain't come here for that. Y'all came here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming to Voodoo Stadium, USA.
Oh, man.
New Orleans.
Hey, got the Chris Bourbon though.
Oh, yeah, you know what
yes, sir. I feel you, man. That boy ready.
Hey.
Yeah.
We come a long way from the closet, dog.
Yeah,
we come a long way.
Yes, sir.
Dig what I'm saying? Hey, I appreciate everybody in the chat. I see you got Terrell out there. Not a who that, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. Shouts out to the Who Dat Nation, man. I told them about the NFC South versus NFL. We're gonna be on here tonight, and man, shouts out to all the people that showed up, man. They loyal, you know what I'm saying? There was a lot of people out there that support the State of the Saints podcast and me. Anytime, I come on any podcast, they're there. So shouts out to all the people there and appreciate that support.
Appreciate it all the way. Yeah, man. All right. So we got this matchup. It's a 1:00 matchup. I like to say it's always fun to play against the Saints, but I can't really say that. Obviously over the last couple of years, since we inserted a certain quarterback, in the regular season, it hasn't been too pretty, man. It ain't been pretty. It's been a lot of Saints and a lot of no Bucks, and it don't matter if y'all got Drew Brees, Simeon, half ACL, Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill.
Right.
Y'all find a way to do it.
Yeah, man.
TJ, what's your feeling about this, man? Do you see now post? I guess maybe I should set this up a little bit. All right, so this is now post Sean Payton and post Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
We now have Dennis Allen being the head coach, and he's calling all the shots. Pete Carmichael on your side, who has been there for 13, about 10 to 15 years?
Yeah, it been there about as long as Sean Payton was. So this is year 16 for Pete Carmichael.
Okay, and Dennis Allen's been there over the last 5 years, I want to say, 5-6 years?
Yeah, on and off. He left the Saints for a couple of years, but he came back. So he's about 10 years has been with the team.
Right. Okay. And now he's the one calling the shots. All right. Looking on the other side, Bruce Arians steps down. Tom Brady, we thought he all retired, decided to come back. Todd Bowles is now the head coach. And we still got Byron Leftwich. And we got now Larry Foote, DC, Armstrong. I'm basically setting this up, man, but you got to appreciate this, man.
Yeah.
We got the blackest coaching staff in the NFL now.
Yeah, man, that's always been a great thing, DJ. Honestly, I know we once again we're on a different side of the coin, but you know what I'm saying, I'm always going to acknowledge black excellence. You know what I'm saying? When you have coaches of color, you know what I'm saying, that's basically changing the game. And not to mention, a couple of years ago, you all won a Super Bowl. That was a great look for African American coaches, and it showed you that those guys were capable of being able to put a team together and be a championship team. So, man, I'm definitely going to give kudos to that.
Definitely. It's one of the reasons why I became a Bucs fan, right? I'm from New Jersey.
Right.
I fell in love with the players, but then I found out it was a black coach. I'm like 11 years. That was very, that represented on me. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Right.
And I fell in love with the Bucs around 98, 99, and I never looked back. I learned the history, and at one point I was like, I really want to be a Buccaneers fan, but I stuck around.
Yeah, you can even go back even further with Doug Williams, man. They took a chance on Doug Williams back in the day, with Coach McKay. I mean, when African American coaches, African American quarterbacks will look at as a like one of those things, like they can't play the quarterback position because it's a thinking position. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were one of those teams that took a chance on African American quarterback and Doug Williams. They didn't stick with him, you know what I'm saying, as long as I feel like they should have. But he ended up going on to Washington and win the Super Bowl. So I mean, he got him to the NFC Championship game. So Doug Williams, definitely is the one that kind of paved the way, and it wouldn't have happened if Tampa Bay wouldn't have signed him out of Grambling. So they always been ahead of the curve, if you ask me.
Yeah, for Tampa, obviously we know their history is not the brightest. Been here since 1976. Mm-hmm. One of the expansion teams, and just basically struggled all the way through it. And one thing I did find out about the Buccaneers, which I ain't like, Doug Williams was the lowest paid quarterback. He was paid less than some backups. Yeah. During that tenure. So I saw why, and that's why the disagreement and all that stuff happened with Doug Williams, and there's a big story behind that. If you want to go back and look at it, it's worth a look at. It's definitely worth it. But like I said, I got a lot of respect in that regard. But when it all comes down to it, man, these two teams, man, to me, this is the standard right here. These are the two teams that everybody's looking at to win the division. And, they're always there in the end, no matter what. You all won a division last year, year before last, we won the division, but y'all end up going to the Super Bowl and winning it. So there's a standard that's going on. And if you ask me, these are the two teams that'll be able to weather the storm. They have good coaches on both sides. They have good players on both sides, and they're really knowledgeable and they know what to do. And it's going to be an interesting game because DJ, I know we talked about the Saints and the Bucs and years past. Look, it's a brand new season. It's a brand new year, and it's a brand new way of thinking. I watched the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go up against the Dallas Cowboys, and they put an emphasis on a run. Having a balanced attack is key to the success of any football team. You can throw the ball all over the place, and this is exciting, and fans are going to be on their feet. But you have to have a balanced attack, especially you got to have that going into the postseason. And if you're doing this in a regular season, it can translate into the postseason. So you have two defensive-minded coaches, and defensive-minded coaches, what do they like to do? They like to be physical. And how do you be physical? On the offensive side of the ball, you run the football. So that balanced attack makes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers even more different. And honestly, the balanced attack that the Saints tried to do against the Atlanta Falcons gives them a different look. And also, the dynamic of Jameis Winston being in this game, being able to throw the ball down the field. So if anybody just thinking, oh, man, it's going to be the same old game or anything like that, regardless of what the score is, you're going to see these teams attack each other in a very different way because of these two coaches. I 100% agree. And you took some of my shine, but I felt the exact same way. Because, like you said, this is not Bruce Arians' team. This is not Sean Payton. Right. I continue to say it. I know Saints fans are excited. Look, I saw y'all game, that comeback, that furious comeback and everything like that. It looked good. Look, there's some things that I guarantee that needs to be retooled and rechanged because you ain't got no Sean Payton making no game plans, got nothing. You're talking about a person that basically was the head of a franchise for 15 years. Okay. Even when he got removed during, COVID, I think he had COVID at one point, when suspended during Bountygate, he still was the guy. Right. He set everything up here, right? Yeah. Changed over to the Buccaneers side. You got Bruce Arians. No risking, no biscuit. For how much love Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles, they go way back to the PA days and stuff like that. Right. Temple, that's where Todd Bowles played football at and all that stuff. They're kind of two different people, but they have a physical and aggressive style, but they want two different ways of doing it. Right. Todd Bowles is completely different. Yeah. He's going to show that through this season. That if you don't really know, you think it's going to be the same thing. Byron Leftwich is now calling the shots. I think Tom Brady and Byron Leftwich have a very interesting relationship. And, there's been some reports that came out during the offseason that Tom Brady was only coming back if Bruce Arians got pushed out and got pushed up. Either, we could put him up in the Raptors and, he can stay with the organization. Right. But we don't want him no more involved with the everyday of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah. I don't know how true it is or not.
I mean, look, everybody got the little controversy. I mean, they had controversy that was involving Sean Payton and Michael Thomas. You know, a lot of people I honestly think that something was going on, especially since like that whole going out in press conference saying that Michael Thomas should have got surgery earlier. I just think that left a bad taste in his mouth. But the way that Michael Thomas was talking about Dennis Allen after that game, I'd never seen him talk that glowingly about Sean Payton. So I think that there's a difference. And like you said, with Todd Bowles, the way that he approaches a game is completely different from Bruce Arians. And once again, most defensive coaches don't think about throwing the ball all over the place. They don't think about being finesse, right? They think about physicality. They think about physical football. Like you think about Leonard Fournette. I mean, I've seen a physicality about him I haven't seen since that magical year he had in Jacksonville. So it's something that is going on right there. I think that if you all can bottle that, I think that you can find success, because there's a lot of teams that are approaching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers like, man, we just got to stop Brady because they want to throw the ball all over the place. So if you can balance that out and you have a running back that's capable of giving you all that balance, I think you all will have a interesting game, no matter if you're playing the Saints or anybody else.
100% agree. 100% agree. With everything you said. I mean, shoot, like I said, like you were doing your homework before we came in here, or you looked at my
that's why we're friends. That's why we're friends. Like we say we're on the same page, man. So I mean, but still, I still believe that the New Orleans Saints have an advantage, man. Like, even though you talk about Pete Carmichael taking over the reins, we've seen this. Like, one thing, it probably would make me nervous, DJ, if I didn't see Dennis Allen be the head coach and Pete Carmichael call the plays in that Tampa Bay game. Look, last year, them boys were slow. Like, that 9-0 victory that they had in Raymond James, that offense of the New Orleans Saints was terrible. And I think, and also you have to take into account now, I think that the offense of the New Orleans Saints is completely different. Like, I understand, like you talk about with Michael Thomas, you call him slant boy. We'll get into that. I'm pretty sure you're gonna.
We're gonna get into that. You got
but I just think that because of Jameis Winston's skill set and his ability to throw the football, you're going to see a different type of Michael Thomas as a wide receiver. Like, if you go back to Michael Thomas' rookie year, Michael Thomas wasn't just running quick slants and, and doing a whole bunch of, out routes, 10-yard out routes. I think he took over that persona because of Drew Brees. Like, man, you watch the tape. You know the way that you all played them in the past when they had Drew Brees. Y'all sat on a lot of routes because y'all didn't respect the arm talent of Drew Brees. So now you have to respect the talent of Jameis Winston. And I'm telling you right now, I got a bold prediction for you, DJ. I'm telling you, if the Saints get the ball, first play from scrimmage, I guarantee you they're going to throw the ball deep. I guarantee you. It's rather going to be Chris Olave. They're going to throw the ball deep too. They're Deontay Hardy. Because I think they need to do that in order for the defensive coordinator, and Todd Bowles to start thinking like, okay, there is a possibility that, they can throw this ball deep down the field. So I think even if it becomes incomplete, I think they're going to start the play from scrimmage with an explosive play, because you need to. Because I think a lot of players are probably going to go into the game and be like, well, these guys are just playing these short routes. We just going to sit on these routes and we just going to let them nickel and dime it down the field. Maybe, force a field goal or, even get them to punt. But I'm telling you, they're going to try to change it up to a point where you're going to have to respect that. And honestly, I think you all are going to do the same. I think both teams are going to approach this game differently. Like Tom Brady throwing the ball first, second, and third down of an opening drive, I don't see that happen. I think the Saints are going to get a big dose of Leonard Fournette. And I think that the Saints are going to start this game with a deep pass, rather it's to Olave, Hardy, even to like Michael Thomas, trying to get behind, Carlton Davis. So I think that's where they're going to start. It's about leaving something in the mind that's a little bit different from years past.
Exactly. I mean, I was thinking it's going to be more on like you said, Jarvis Landry, Hardy, or Olave, because I saw Olave. He ran a lot of deep corner routes. It seemed like when he caught his passes.
Yeah.
And we saw what Jarvis Landry did. I wouldn't be surprised, like you said. And for a while, I think the Saints feel like, okay, we actually have some wide receivers now. Many people look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary as kind of being like, let's find out if they really can do what they can do. Look, we played the Cowboys. All they had was CD
Lamb. Yes.
They call him Deuce, but I don't know what the hell he is. He's CD 5. I don't know. But they just, it's still, I guarantee it's like, let's test these boys, see what they got.
Right.
But also, do you want to put Jameis in that situation of having to do what he kind of did with the Bucs and open it up that way? I know he's not the same player. You know where I stand with Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I know.
He's a Saint.
Right.
Right? I mean, putting something like out there, and his history is out there, right? I mean, he has thrown interceptions early.
Yeah.
She kind of changed the outcome of a game. Yeah, I've been walking him into a lot of games. I would think that maybe you want to, stay the course with that.
Yeah.
Or maybe you guys, like you said, maybe you want to be like, all right, we're about to have an outcoming party and be like, look at this.
Yeah.
Here, take this.
Yeah. Well, let me retract that. Okay. Even though they go deep, let's just say they started off with a 7-step drop. If you all are blitzing him or you're trying to get pressure on him and he can't get the ball down the field, I'm just saying, like, they're going to start this game with an aggressive pass down the field. I don't know if it's going to be completed. I mean, this is a bold prediction. I don't know if it's going to be completed. I don't know if you all are going to get him off his spot. But I'm just saying the dynamic and the optics of it. I think that they want to put something in the mind of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. I think you have to. These teams can't approach this game the same way as they did in years past, because in the case of the Bucs, that's what got them beat. And even in the Saints in the divisional round, that's what got them beat, because you all set on a lot of those routes. So you can't approach this game the same way. And I think that you have to look at, play this game a little bit differently. So, I mean, that's just the way I say it. I don't know if it's going to be completed or not. I don't know if you all going to try to sack him. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be a big time catch. But I'm saying, though, you got to put that in the mind that this isn't the same offense as years past.
And this isn't also the same defensive pass.
For
both sides. I mean, on your side, you got, Marcus May, you got Tyrann Mathieu, inserted from Malcolm Jenkins, and Marcus Williams, who I was a big fan of. He used to get on my goddamn nerves. I was a big fan of him. Malcolm Jenkins also playing in that middle of the field. Marcus May seems like the player that's going to do that. And then obviously the thorn in my ass, it's a CD Deuce.
Oh, man.
I swear, I had a party when y'all got rid of him. I'm like, man, it's just something with that attitude. He knew he had Tom Brady's heart and his balls in his head. I mean, him leaving, maybe you guys are not counting it, but from what I see, is a big deal. Bradley Roby didn't look that good last week. I went back.
He looked. He was.
Austin Adebo's been out.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lattimore looks like Marshawn Lattimore.
Mm-hmm.
Fine with that. Like I said, Marcus May was flying all over the field. That looked good. Tyrann Mathieu looked a little unsure. Like I said, this is just what I'm seeing. DeMario Davis. I think that has something to do with the whole RPO. What Marcus Mariota with Patterson was doing to kind of slow y'all down. Because like I said, you guys really didn't get no D-line pressure. I think it was because you guys were trying to stay, in place to, deal with one direction or another direction. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
From watching the tape. Or somebody's losing some steps up there. What do you think? I mean, that's just what I saw.
I think we're on the same page with that. And we talked about that on the State of the Saints podcast. We talked about the Saints' inability to get pressure or get to the backfield of Marcus Mariota. Now, it could be because Marcus Mariota, we know that he's a running quarterback. He looks at that first read, he don't see it, he running, right? So it's kind of hard for a defensive end or interior lineman to try to get to that guy, because as soon as you get there, he gonna run away. This game right here is going to be the deciding factor if we need to be concerned about the defensive line. Now, I will say in preseason, they left a lot to be desired when it came to getting pressure on the quarterback. You had a couple guys get sacks.
Yep.
Yeah, but it wasn't to my liking. So if they're not getting pressure on Tom Brady, who is a stationary target, it would be alarming. I mean, and you all have some some issues on the offensive line as well. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, man, he hurt. Oh, man, he not playing. Smith hurt. Like, I don't buy all that because I'll tell you why, DJ. Second game of the season, week 2 back in 2020, I was hearing the same narrative. And this is one of the main reasons why I don't listen to mainstream media anymore to get my takes. I do my research myself.
Ditto.
But the offensive line of the Las Vegas Raiders, they were talking about how terrible it was going to be. And I remember going on a Las Vegas Raiders podcast and talking to a guy getting interviewed. And I was basically doing the same rebuttal, the same thing that I heard. The Saints got whooped, the defensive line. The offensive line of the Raiders basically whooped the New Orleans Saints. So I was thinking to myself, well, if these day backups and these guys aren't skilled enough, then what does that say about our defensive line? So I don't buy that whole, man, this person hurt, that person hurt. Look, you line up against the guy in front of you and you try to win your matchup, right? And let the best man win. And these guys are prideful on both sides. So if you think you're going to come into the game because Smith is hurt and, you know what I'm saying, you had some issues across the offensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and you just think, oh, man, we about to get to Brady all day, all night, I think you sadly mistaken. You got to bring your big boy pants every single Sunday because no matter if it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the New York Jets, these guys get paid a lot of money to play the game of football. And if you're not prepared, they're going to whoop you behind, just like the Atlanta Falcons did on the offensive line and the defensive line. And any New Orleans Saints fan, like I love the New Orleans Saints, y'all already know, but let's just be real about this. We're happy they won. We like the late game heroics. But if you look back at that game for 3 quarters, the Saints got their behind whooped in the trenches, and you cannot replicate that. But like I said, DJ, if they go out here this game and they have the same issues that I've seen with the Atlanta Falcons, that's when I start to be concerned. And that's why I've been telling Saints fans on the State of the Saints podcast.
Exactly. I mean, I'll give you my rundown of what I saw in that game. The big difference, you basically said a lot of it, but the big difference was Grady Jarrett. When you go back and watch on all 22,
right,
he was tearing up the interior of your line.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going to work.
Right.
And I had some clips that I didn't upload. You know, sorry, I got kids, and it just ain't happening the way I wanted to.
Right.
Like,
this is a seltzer, by the way. I want everybody to know this water. This is water seltzer. I don't want people to think I'm just swigging over here. This is water. This is water right here. Okay,
right.
Go ahead.
But Grady Jarrett was, just working. But once again, first game of the season, Grady Jarrett didn't play a whole game. Yeah. And you saw in the end of the third quarter, he was going out there. They were rotating the line.
Right.
That's when everything changed. And then we came back in the fourth. That kid was gassed.
Yep.
I looked at there was one
Cesar
play.
Ruiz,
Where it was a play where Grady Jarrett and Michael Walker behind him did a kind of twist play.
Yep.
That's something that the New Orleans Saints are going to really have to worry about when it comes to, we do a lot of twists with our linebackers, with the defensive linemen. That's what Todd Bowles lives off of, right? 5 men coming at y'all all times. Right. That could be a huge problem if it's not something that is short up with the New Orleans Saints. Because right now, like you said, you got your boy Penning went out. Tyron left during he left during
free agency. Yeah,
you still got Ramczyk over there. You ain't a big Cesar Ruiz fan. I heard you plenty of times talk about him.
Oh no, I'm definitely not a fan. I think he leaves a lot to be desired. Look, I think that it takes some time for these guys to develop. You know what I'm saying? But you got to call a spade a spade. My mom, I think I seen her in the chat, she has a saying, DJ. She says, when a person shows you who they are, believe them. And I'm starting to believe what I'm seeing from Cesar Ruiz. I mean, you got Doug Marrone, who is probably one of the most respected offensive line coaches ever. You know what I'm saying? I know, he had a little stint in Jacksonville, went to AFC Championship, had some success, but his calling card is the offensive line. And if the more things change, the more they stay the same. Okay, you told me in 2020, oh man, you had a pandemic and he wasn't able to be around the team and you ain't have all these off-season activities. Okay, fine. 2021, okay, he's supposed to get a little better. So I guess technically that's his rookie season, quote unquote. And now you're going into 2022 and you're seeing the same thing. Like, what are you? What am I supposed to do with that? You know what I'm saying? You still getting whooped at the line of scrimmage. You still looking dazed and confused, and you still slipping and sliding like you know what I'm saying? You Byron Bortano or one of them figure skaters out there. You sliding down, you're slipping on the ground, guys pushing you back. Come on, man. Like, it comes a time where you have to man up. You got to get out of the way. And honestly, I think the Saints, they gotta push this dude. Like, I don't want him to feel like he's the only game in town. So I don't know if you have to bring somebody in or heck, even give somebody else some first team reps to let this guy know, man, hey, you got to step it up and you got to step aside. You cannot go out here constantly and just think, oh, because I'm certified, like the first 15th check that what I'm saying, like I'm gonna be the starter. You got to push these guys. Dennis Allen was talking about competition, right? And if we're talking about competition and really seriously considering competition, then you got to let this guy know, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need more out of you, or we're going to try to find somebody else that's going to give us the production we need.
Yeah. Hey, and that's
DJ, I was at the game. You know what I'm saying? So I seen him getting whooped in the, you know what I'm saying, in the trenches up close and personal. Like, it looked like he didn't know what the heck he was doing at times. He had a couple blocks, a couple blocks that kind of sprung some runs, but look, man, we're going into year 3 of your career, and if you still having these same issues like you're a rookie out there, I can't tell you from, I don't know, Trevor Penny's pass protection ability, then in year 3, then we need to try to find something else, and at the guard position, or not pick up his 5th-year option that's going to be coming up soon.
Yeah, because I mean that whole thing, and that's why I think the Bucks, that's something Todd Bowles is going to be looking at. He's going to be like, we got to take advantage of this. They're going to twist and do all that stuff. Like you said, he seems like when he does his pass sets, he ain't never got a stable base, and I'll be like, he just be ready to fall over or something like that. That boy be looking. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait. I know them boys looking at chops, looking at that. Obviously, we added in Hakeem Nicks. Y'all very familiar with him. Vage got paid.
Well deserved.
Yeah, and I didn't see a lot from that first game. They just pushed the pocket around. They pushed around the pocket a little bit. They were eaters of like multiple players around Devin White, who had a hell of a game last week to run freely, along with Levante David. Like I said, the front 7 for the Bucks looks really well. Yeah. Like I said, with the Saints, it was hard for me to be like, all right, is this the same Saints team? I know DeMario Davis getting a little older. Pete Warner, he was flying around a little bit. I know he was your top tackler out there. Cam Jordan, a year older. Like I said, he wasn't trying to make any moves. He was up there in tackles, though. I was very shocked about that. I didn't really realize when I looked at the stats.
Right.
Those trenches are going to be very interesting. And then obviously coming over to the Bucks, all the change that's happened there with Shaq Mason now being in the inside, replacing Al Kappa. We got a rookie, Luke Gardecki, replacing Ali Marpet. I mean, I think he should have been an All-Pro a lot more in his career, but he retired. And now we got, like you said, Donovan Smith's hurt. Josh Wells, in my opinion, when he came in, we started running the rock. Donovan Smith has always been that player. You never know what you're gonna get from him. Now his boy is not next to him no more. We're gonna find out who the real Donovan Smith is, but not right now. Like I said, Josh Wells played pretty well. Hensley in the middle, nobody's talking about him. So he must be doing all right. That was a big problem everybody had with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm ready to see this test because you guys are definitely going to test them. I don't all the way believe that you guys have now just fell off the face of the earth from a front 7 standpoint. Like I said, I expect DeMario Davis to be better. Davenport, I expect to be better. Cam Jordan, I'm one of the people still up in the air with Cam Jordan. I know you might feel a little different. But he does look like getting a little older. He still has some of that burst. He can still do a couple things, but he's not what he used to be. That thorn in my ass. He's still all right. But yeah, man, like I said, this matchup is going to be very interesting. And I don't know, man. Is there anything else that you've been looking at, analyzing? There's anything that you like? Maybe the Saints need to hit this. Like what? I know you always want to get Tom Brady off his spot. Anything else?
Well, no, I mean, you got to be able to stop the run. I mean, you look at Cordell Patterson, what he had about 20 carries for 122 yards, like 20 carries, 22 carries for 120 yards. I mean, he was pushing these guys around. He was bullying these guys, in case he was running guys over. But I do feel like, they got to respond. They have to respond. I expect for them to respond because this is a powerful team. Dennis Allen said after the press conference, we're going to take a real look. We're going to analyze this tape. Which once again I find funny. Who watching actual tape in 2022? Everything is digitized. But anyway, right? We watching the tape. Yeah, like this make me like you ain't watching the tape. But anyway, like he said, we're going to analyze this and we're going to take a real deep dive into what's going on, and we're going to really, be objective about this thing, which I can have, respect. And if those guys looked at that and had a serious look in the mirror, as most people say, then they will know that they got whooped at the line of scrimmage, and you cannot replicate that. as far as Cam Jordan is concerned, like Cam Jordan has always been one of the best run stoppers and setting the edge in the NFL. You know, I know sometimes, you know, people look at these defensive ends, and if these guys ain't sacking a quarterback 15, 20 times a year, then they feel like they're not worth it. But stopping a run is just as important as getting pressure on a quarterback. If you don't believe me, you know, out there there's a legendary defensive end by the name of Dexter Manley. You know, he was a great at pass rushing, but anytime a team needed to run, he was out of the game. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and teams were able to run on that side because, you know, he wasn't there and have that presence. So teams, when they see him out the game, they can easily throw the football because, you know what I'm saying? Like it was different ways to do that. So as a defensive end, you got to be able to mix it up a little bit. And Cam Jordan is one of the best at running and getting pressure on the quarterback. Once again, if they are not getting pressure on Tom Brady, if they're allowing like some of the members of the offensive line to just continue to keep them in check of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line, I'm going to be really concerned about that. This is the game that's going to decide my skepticism about the line. As far as like all the other positions, I expected this, DJ. You know, like it takes time for guys to start to mesh, to understand the chemistry of one another. You know, it didn't surprise me, you know, at times where those guys look like a deer in headlights because, you know, being on the defensive side of football, the secondary, is about communication. And if you don't know this guy as well, like you look at, like you mentioned, Marcus Williams and Marshawn Lattimore came into the league together. They grew as pros together. So it got to a point where these guys understood what each other was thinking. You know, they could basically, you know, they learned each other like the back of their hand. And as far as Bradley Roby is concerned, you know, you still have that chemistry from the times when you were at Ohio State, the 4 years that you all spent together, or the 3 years that you all spent together at Ohio State, you know, when it comes to Lattimore and Roby. So Marcus May and the Honey Badger, they have to figure this thing out. So it's going to take some time. So I didn't expect for them to be all world, you know, when it comes to the defensive secondary. I expect for them to have mistakes. I expected a little bit of bend but don't break. But as time goes on, as games start to come up, you should start to develop in a level of chemistry. And there should be a difference between the defense that we've seen in week 1 and the defense you all are going to face in week 2. And if it's not that case, then maybe we need to start looking and seeing if who we can possibly bring in to show up this defensive line as well as the secondary.
Excuse me with that. But yeah, I totally understand that. I think week 2, if it isn't all the way there, like you said, it might be a little early for that. You just said it yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that was something that, you know, I looked at from your side, like this is completely different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like you said, with all that between Malcolm Jenkins and all the players, that's in sync. Now you bring it over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This team, when you're talking about from a secondary standpoint, this team has now been together. These players, stable of players, have been together for about 3 to 4 years now.
Yeah.
And that was something that basically was ringing, you know, in the offseason, was like just the communication and how in sync they are and everything like that. Obviously, Winfield was inserted 3 years ago, but all that stuff is now harmony. And and obviously, it's a small sample size, but it looks like it's all coming together.
Yeah.
With all that being said, man, I think we looked at damn near everything. I think it's time, for the most part, looking at this game in the Voodoo Nation of New Orleans.
Oh, man,
who you taking, man? I mean, who you think, after looking at all the things that we looked at, it's gonna come out victorious, and why, basically, why you think it's gonna happen?
Well, I think the Saints are gonna humble y'all. I'm just playing. Just a shot at it, man. Shouts out to the Atlanta Falcon Nation podcast.
Well, they're going crazy. Shout out to Big Boy. I see you in there. You fighting in there for me. I see you, man. It's a lot, man. I get it, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody in the chat, though. Y'all going crazy. I see
but all jokes aside, man. As far as the Tampa Bay basement dwellers, I mean the Buccaneers. The thing about it,
over
for about a year, you know what I'm saying? When Tom Brady's wife tell him to come on home, you know what I'm saying? Come on home, we need you.
Oh, we gonna come on, y'all. This at a later date, TJ. We already know.
Yeah, almost lost them, man, for real. But it's not. But all jokes aside, look, I respect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I respect the fact that they want this game. You know, I think he may not say this, but I think that this game right here was a really strong influence to Tom Brady returning because, you know,
Okay,
I'm just saying, man. Like, look, you gotta like, man. You know, I mean, this guy won 7 Super Bowls. What are you playing for? You got every passing record. You got completion records, all these touchdown records. You got everything. You know what I'm saying? You win the most Super Bowls than anybody. What are you playing for? So what you're doing, you got to find little small victories in between to keep you interested. It's almost like, they had that smart kid in class, and he always finishes his homework and his assignments quicker than everybody else. So the teacher had to come up with different assignments to keep him interested. That is what Tom Brady is when it comes to the Saints. And I think the Saints, it played a huge role in him coming back. The fact that he has not beat them in a regular season as a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the fact that, they beat them, pretty emphatically the times that he played, and he put up some of his worst numbers statistically as the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I expect for them to be game, but I also expect for the Saints. I expect for the Saints to win this football game. I expect for them to win. I think that people aren't paying attention to another side, which is Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston played in the game last year in Halloween, but he didn't finish. He tore his ACL in this game, and he didn't get an opportunity to go out there and show what he was actually made of. And he was cooking for a while, man. Like he was moving around the pocket, and you can tell like he had that fire in his eyes to try to make sure that he tried to win this game and give it everything that he had. So I think that he wants to finish where he starts. So what you have on both sides are 2 quarterbacks that are extremely motivated to try to beat the respective team for two different reasons. So I think the Saints are going to win this football game because of the interesting dynamic that they have now. I think the Saints were able to do some of the things offensively, and they didn't have the firepower that they actually had last season. And they still found a way to win. And I understand that Sean Payton isn't there anymore. He isn't dialing it up, but you still have the same offensive schemes that Sean Payton was running. I said this also, DJ, on the show. When I looked at Jameis Winston for those 3 quarters, when I was at the game, I was actually mad, but I didn't think about it. The fact that he didn't try to aggressively try to push the game and make the game happen, it really showed me something different, because if you were going to do that, that was the game to do it. So the poise and the patience that he actually showed, and the chemistry that he developed late in the 4th quarter with some of those receivers, I think that you're going to see that in this game. I think that you're going to see a little bit of improvement. I don't think they're going to start late. Like, they ain't going to wait till the 4th quarter to actually get started, because if you do, then this game going to be over before it starts. So I expect for them to improve and work on some of the things that they actually needed to do. And also, I think that you're going to get a heavy dose of a guy that has really been a thorn in y'all side that a lot of people aren't paying attention to, and that's Deontay Hardy. His ability to be able to be elusive. It's been times where, honestly, he's been the best player on the field going up against you guys. I mean, even Bruce Arians at the time even mentioned that. And, of course, like, he kind of slides down the depth chart because of the talent of the wide receivers. But I expect for him to play a huge role in this game. And if Alvin Kamara just so happens to be hurt and the Saints are trying to cut down on some of his snaps, look for Kirk Merritt to be activated in this game, because they actually switched him from the wide receiver position to the running back position. And I think for situations like that, they want to use him more of a Ty Montgomery role. So look for that. And also look for Latavius Murray, maybe possibly to get some snaps as Alvin Kamara can't go. So but I have the Saints winning this game. It's not going to be a blowout like, some of those other games in the past, because I think both teams want it. But I have the Saints winning this game. And it's going to be very exciting, man, because both of these teams want it extremely bad.
Exactly. Dang, you stole a lot of my thunder. We all good with
you
that.
need to start going first.
You outlined basically everything.
Yeah.
You basically outlined everything that needed to be said about this game. This is going to be a very different game than I think from what we're used to seeing, right? I think, again, that's the reason why one of the main reasons why Tom Brady came back was to get this blemish off his record. Everybody knows it. I mean, the national media is talking about all the different games we played y'all during the regular season and how bad Tom Brady looked in these games. Yeah. And I think, I don't think he's going to come out here and be, miss the 5,000-yard, 48 touchdown Tom Brady. He's going to be efficient. I think they're going to lean on a run. They're going to test y'all with that. Obviously, we have the weapons also to go outside. We didn't really even get into that. Obviously, we have Julio Jones, which we're both very familiar with. Mike Evans still out there. I expect the Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans matchup to continue. I mean, that's a running thing, man. That shit is like, I don't know, David and Goliath, because Marshawn got him a lot, but Mike Evans got a couple games too. But they just love that matchup. Obviously, Julio Jones, like I already mentioned, you got still Russell Gage now out there. Chris Godwin's probably not going to play with that hamstring. Probably won't see him for a couple weeks. But that's still a lot of weaponry out there. Do a lot of different things out there. It just looks very different from that standpoint. And like I said, CD Deuce ain't there, and I think that's big. Like I said, because that attitude that he brought to that secondary. And the way he just being Tom Brady, I swear, every time you looked up, this dude, little ass motherfucker, he was just in Tom Brady.
Yeah, he just disrespectful.
I mean, he used to disrespect the hell out of Tom Brady. Without that being there, I think that's going to be a big difference. And I know this defense is chomping at the bit. I mean, Devin White seems like he is now the leader of this team finally. Like many people thought that Devin White arrived. I was one of the people from last year that was saying he got a couple more things, in coverage and things like that. I saw some promising things from him going forward, but then this passionate speech that he gave. If you ain't check out my Buccaneers on a Mission video that I posted not so long ago about this, Devin White, I feel like, is a different leader. He finally can be that. It's just going to be – it's a lot of different things going on with the Buccaneers that I think you guys are going to see. Joe Tryon's now the full-time player over there. JPP is gone. I think, obviously he's still in the free agency market. Nobody wanted him. Just Ndamukong Suh too. I mean, what I'm saying? You're bringing in different players. Secondary's a year older. Retooled offensive line. I really feel good about the Bucs. And I talked to Mike a little earlier. I ain't talked to you about it. Yeah. I was going back and forth with this. I'm not one of those Bucs fans that every blindly time, we finally gonna get the Saints. We finally gonna get the Saints. I've been picking the Saints over the last couple of years to take us out. Just because of the way y'all matched up against us was very, very well. And y'all still continue to do that. But I just think this year, for the first time, like I said, I'm not doing this a lot. Because I was going back and forth before we got on here. Right. I think I'm going with my Bucs this time because I feel like this is just a better matchup game. And I think Todd Bowles as a head coach is going to be a difference maker. You ain't going to have no BA in your ear, whispering nothing, to Byron Leftwich to do this. Right. It's completely different now. And I think we saw that week one. Right. And, it just feels very different. And look at that. And that's why I'm going to go with the Bucs in another close one. I know who that nation's going to be in there. They in the chat. I know they're going to be in the damn stadium. Y'all gonna be making it crazy. I'm very excited for this game because I think there's still things that we're trying to figure out from both sides. Yeah, and you can't say one way or another at this point. Yeah. Now I'm taking my Bucs, man. Forget y'all. I almost did it, but I ain't gonna have y'all come on my damn podcast. I'm a big damn Saints. And I'm like, you know what?
Hey, nah, man, look. I like objectivity. Like if you're being objective, I'm gonna call you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but. Atlanta Falcon Nation, man, it was on some delusional stuff. I had to get them. But I really 100% agree with what you're saying. Both of these coaches are trying to make these teams there. So if you're looking in years past, I think that you're looking in the wrong place.
This is 0-0 right now.
Yeah, if you're looking for teams to approach other teams, of course, like last year, that's the only thing that you have in your mind. But teams change. Players change, schemes change, and I think that this was what you're going to see. I have respect for these guys. I mean, I think that the Saints are, going to win, but I think that if anybody just think that, I'll be shocked. I ain't gonna say. Look, people entitled to feel that way. You got to be real, DJ. I mean, the Saints, they've really imposed their will over the last couple of times that they played them. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand people saying, man, this game ain't going to be close. But to me, I would be shocked. Like, I would be shocked if this game didn't come down to the last 5 minutes. All right? I think we're probably going to go back to the time and, boy, get your blood pressure medicine ready. If you got heart problems, you might want to turn away. But I think we about to, go back to, some of them cardiac Saints days. You know what I'm saying? When the game is like a phone boot and, it's like a phone boot fight. You know what I'm saying? Like you fighting in a phone boot and the first person get out is the winner. That's what, I'm saying, some of these games are going to be on. But you know what? I have nothing but respect for that because that shows you that your team has grits and they're going to fight to the end. You know what I'm saying? They're going to continue to fight and they're going to continue to grind. And I'd rather have a team like that than somebody that that the game is over by the end of the first quarter. So I think
100% agree, man.
Yeah.
Good breakdown, man. I appreciate everything coming on and everything like that. But I can't leave. I can't let you leave. I gotta first get your other picks in the NFC South. This is the NFC South versus NFL. I'm gonna get that first, and then we're gonna talk about the other topic that made the Twitter space go a little crazy.
Oh man, I think I knew
which I was included in. We'll get into that after that before we get out of here. So the first matchup we're gonna talk about is the Carolina Panthers going up to New Jersey, my home state, to play the New York Football Giants.
Man,
TJay, me and Mike already did these. I want to know what your feeling on this game is, just looking at it from the outside looking in.
I look at both teams. I look at both teams. New head coach out there in New York.
Dabo coming from Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah. So coming from Buffalo, that there's a certain type of culture that they're building over there with Sean McDermott, who's doing an outstanding job. Would be shocked if those guys aren't there in the very end, competing for a Super Bowl or on the threshold of a Super Bowl. But he comes from that coaching tree, and he has this fire in his eyes, and he has those guys motivated. And we all know, it starts with the coaching. If a coach can get players to believe in what he's trying to instill inside of the locker room, inside of the organization, then everything else kind of falls in place. I like the fact that he put emphasis on the best offensive player that they have right now, and that's Saquon Barkley. I mean, had 200 yards of total offense, and you're matching the physicality of a team in the Tennessee Titans that have been known for being one of those physical football teams. So going out there, going toe-to-toe and being a physical football team, I think that's a plus. As far as with the Carolina Panthers, they got a lot of talent offensively, but it's a matter of can they use it? I mean, I've seen a couple passes. Baker Mayfield threw that 71-yard touchdown to Robbie Anderson. That's a good look. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like a lot of people thought that game was going to be over. Cleveland started off kind of slapping them in the mouth, came down, to the very end. They didn't get the job done, but hey, that tells you right there. There was a lot of questions about Matt Rule. And, will he be able to weather the storm throughout the entire season because of what's been going on in Carolina? So the fact that they have been responding like that, the fact that they were trying to fight to the very end, you have to be impressed with that. I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers in this game. I think the Carolina Panthers are going to win this football game. I think the Carolina Panthers defensively are much better than, people may think. All teams struggle, defensively and offensively across the board. If you go and take a look, I was able to watch some of the games that I missed because I was at the Falcons game. So I went back. Most offensive lines of teams, I say about 75-80% of the teams in the National Football League in week one, offensive line struggling, and you've seen some defensive hiccups. So I do think that the Carolina Panthers defense is much better than people think. I think their offense probably going to start gelling. And I'm still not sold on Daniel Jones. I'm not sold on him. I don't think he can lead you to water with a boat. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he can lead a horse to water. I don't think he can lead anybody anywhere. I don't think he can lead a baker to a bread shop. I mean, it's I just don't buy it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't buy it. As long as he's the quarterback of that team and they don't roll with Tyrod Taylor, and I got my boy Brandon in the spot. He's a Giants fan, but I'm just being real, Brandon. You know it. But until like they change it up. If this was Tyrod, like I like Tyrod Taylor. If it was Tyrod Taylor, I actually think they would actually be able to win the football game. But Daniel Jones, I'm just not buying what he's selling. And I just think that they need to go in a different direction. They almost there. They were one of the teams that won. You know what I'm saying? The Cowboys, the only team in the East that didn't win. But I think the Carolina Panthers are going to win this football game because they need to. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to stay right there in order for you to be in contention in the very end. I mean, you got the Bucs, they won last week. They got the Saints that won, and you don't want to be in the bottom of the basement, with the Atlanta Falcons, probably going up against the Rams, who were probably mad because they got embarrassed on national TV at home. So I got the Carolina Panthers winning this football game.
Okay, definitely. I'll give y'all a nugget. You know, if you want to go check out our video, we'll be coming out soon. Me and Mike both took the Giants. Looking at this team, it's never been a problem over let's say over the last year of talent with the Carolina Panthers. It's the actual leadership of this team. Matt Rule is definitely on the high seat. I mean, he got 2 5-5 seasons, and actually last year was worse because he had 12 opposed to 11 because of 17 games. Schedule. But you look at this just from that standpoint, from Dayball versus Matt Rule, because it has to come down to that, because the players are out there for the Panthers, and we sitting here asking ourselves, like, why is this happening the way it is? And it's really hard to sit here and just say the Carolina Panthers, based off their talent, because they've had this talent, is going to be able to win this game against New York Giants, when the New York Giants have a coach that is spitting, they're fueling fire into that team. Saquon Barkley is healthy. He hasn't been healthy over the last couple of years. Daniel Jones is not a world beater. Baker Mayfield's not a world beater. It's the same thing. I mean, at least Daniel Jones is not slipping over his feet this game. He looked at least like a comparable quarterback in that first game.
DJ, let me say this, man. Every year Daniel Jones has a game that he just has this out-of-body experience. It was the game versus, Tampa. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had that 4-touchdown game. Last year, shouts out to my guy, Brandy, brought this up. He did it to the Saints, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it came back, I think, from 11 or something like that in the fourth quarter. He always has those games where you're like, that's why they got him. And then all of a sudden, like, as time goes on, it just like, he just falls off the face of the earth. You know who he reminds me of? I'm just being serious. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick always has those games, or he always has like that little run of 1 or 2 games where he looked like he the best quarterback in the National Football League, and then all of a sudden he drops down to earth. So he looked serviceable last week, and there's going to be a game where, like I said, I mentioned, it's going to be like, that's why they drafted him. But those games come too few and far in between. They come too few and far in between. And if you're not doing that on a consistent basis, I can't pick you because I don't know what you're going to get. You know what I'm saying? You can't, like, if your quarterback is like a box of chocolates like Forrest Gump mama had, you don't never know what you're going to get. How can I pick you? I can't. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's going to have a game where, it's going to prove my guy Brandon right, but I think there's going to be plenty more games that he's going to look like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I mean, I'm just calling a spade a spade. How many years you need to show that this guy isn't it? I'm sorry.
And I ain't taking this team because Daniel Jones. I'll tell you that much. I mean, look, Carolina Panthers lost to a damn Cleveland Browns team with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, let's be honest about this. Like, Jacoby Brissett, I don't know if you watched the game. He missed a bunch of passes. Like, this game would have been a blowout if they had Daniel Jones, I think. It was. I try to give Jacoby Brissett a little shout out before this game. I say he could be an X factor, but I mean, good God, that man look. I mean, you got players like Amari Cooper out there, and you still looking like straight trash. You got Nick Chubb out here embarrassing the Panthers, D line. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, you don't got no pressure on you for the most part. Just sit back there and deliver the damn ball. Right. Saquon Barkley, Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans is a very formidable team. Let's not sit here and act like they just played against Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. So for Saquon to go out there and do what he did, it was impressive. And I do got to correct myself. Mike did we went back and forth because it's like you pick Tweedledee or Tweedledum. I mean, that's what it kind of felt like. And he was like, it's the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to pick that. I do want to pick that and say he did go back. And I'm like, look, I ain't picking them right now because I should have picked Cleveland Browns, which I was talking about all off season, which I didn't. Because I had Mike influence me. That's my boy, man.
I knew Mike was going to find his way in the chat. We started talking about Carolina. Look, Mike is the moderator right now. He behind the scenes, but I knew he was going to find his way to the chat when we started talking about him. Shouts out to my guy, Mike Ricks, man. Great guy. Huge Carolina Panther fan. But yeah, I got Carolina winning, man.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. All right. And the last game in the NFC South, we got the heartbroken Atlanta Falcons flying across the nation, the SoFi Stadium, to play the pissed off LA Rams. I don't even want to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, TJ. Who you got in this matchup?
Man, look, I'm being dead serious. The Atlanta Falcons have improved as a football team. I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. I seen it up close in person. I got to give credit where credit is due. But once again, it comes down to quarterback. When Marcus Mariota in the fourth quarter needed to make the throw to win the game, he couldn't do it. I don't care if you're running around here looking like the second coming of Vic. It's going to come a time where your team is going to need you to stand in that pocket and deliver that ball on time. Now, do I feel like you're probably going to see Kyle Pitts have a pretty good game because he didn't have one last week? I think you're going to see that. Drake London, he showed a little bit of fire. Zacchaeus, he showed a little bit of fire. He had that fumble, but he was doing a few things out there. I don't think they're going to get blown out. But the fact that the Super Bowl champions on national television got slapped around and embarrassed and humiliated, you know they're going to have to be motivated. Matthew Stafford looks like slaw, right? I mean, you had Cooper Kupp out there. He had 13 catches in the game. Cam Akers, I expect for him to have a better game. I mean, you can have a worse game. I mean, he didn't have any yards. He had like 3 carries. I don't expect for that to happen. I think the Rams are going to be motivated in this game. Do I feel like the Rams are going to just slap those guys around? No, I do not. But I do feel like there's levels to this. The fact that Sean McVay is an offensive genius, in my opinion, and the fact that those guys got humiliated, including some of their best players. Jalen Ramsey was out there getting worked by Stephon Diggs. So you know he don't want to replicate that, and he's going to be on Drake London. So he wants to get back to being that top corner in the National Football League. I think it's wrong place, wrong time. If the Rams would have won last week, I probably would have said maybe the Falcons, the way they played, they probably would have won. But those guys are going to be real focused. And the fact that, you're traveling or, saying it's a 3-hour time zone, 3-hour difference, I think that's going to play a huge role. I know that personally because, I just went out to Nevada with my wife and, man, it took me a couple of days to kind of settle for that. So stuff like that we don't pay attention to. It plays a huge role. So, but I got the Rams winning this game. Not because of my, dislike of the Falcons. Unlike most Falcon fans, I'm not delusional. I'm objective. But I just think that the Rams are going to win this football game because they're going to be motivated.
Yeah, I'm 100% there with you. I mean, you're talking about, on top of everything you said, I mean, this Rams team get an extra 3 days to really watch what the hell happened before they now pissed off and be like, we got an opportunity here to play against a team that is not the level of the Buffalo Bills. And once again, that's not taking a shot at the Atlanta Falcons. It's just facts. You know what I'm saying? So Matthew Stafford is going to probably play better. Look, the Atlanta Falcons, Apichetty, their new outside rusher they got.
Right.
Promising young player. He ain't Von Miller. Right?
No, he's not.
That's just not happening. They don't have, Razul, whatever his name is, out of Miami, Oliver. They don't got those players on that. They got Grady Jarrett, which I already spoke about, who's a hell of a player. They don't got that type of players that's going to be coming after Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford's going to get a lot more comfortable in this game. I mean, hopefully, and not hopefully, but, Ram fans act like, it was 1-1 when they got rid of Odell Beckham. I know he's injured. He's probably still going to come back a little later. Yeah. And got Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson ain't the same player. Yeah. But you would hope he would be more, put into the game plan and everything like that. This is a prideful defense, right? You got Aaron Donald over there. You got Jalen Ramsey, who began embarrassed over the last couple of games that he's been out there on the field. And, he's going to want to continue to have that happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Bobby Wagner, somebody that they just inserted in the middle, right? I mean, all them years over in Seattle, now coming over to a totally different scheme with Raheem Morris.
Right.
There's a little learning curve there, right? You got to put all that in perspective. I'm not one of those people that looked at that game and be like, the Rams suck. They're not going to go back to the playoffs, this, that, and the third. First of all, anybody that's been watching everything that's been going on in the NFL, the AFC is a very strong conference, okay? Ooh. Man, it's going to be, it's going those years where they're going to be beating each other up in the AFC, okay?
Yep.
The Rams are still going to be one of the better teams in the NFC. Yep. The Falcons, they might get back around where they were last year, but they're not going to be great again.
Yeah.
And that gut shot they took last year, look, these guys are human beings.
Yep.
They felt that. They felt that they had y'all by the nuts and they let them shits go.
Yep.
They did. And they got, I keep on saying it, they got burnt out, right? I can't. I'll be very impressed. Arthur Smith, I like him as a coach, but I don't think he'll be able to get these players ready, and their talent is not as good as this team. I'm definitely taking the Rams. Will it be a blowout? It matters how hurt the Atlanta Falcons are from that loss against y'all. That's personally my opinion when it comes to that.
I like what you just said about Arthur Smith, and it's not about having these guys prepared. It's about being too emotional. One thing that bothered me about him, I understand, look, when you lose, man, you're not happy. But the fact that he went to the podium after that loss, had an opening statement, and didn't answer the question from the media and walked off, it's not a good look. That's not a good look because football is a game of emotions. And your job as a team manager and head coach is to keep the players' emotions in check. So if your emotions aren't in check, how you expect for your players to stay in their position? And also, you mentioned something about Matthew Stafford. The linebackers of the Atlanta Falcons are really good pass rushers. You know what I'm saying? They are. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got Evans. You know what I'm saying? Like,
out of Tennessee. Yep.
Yeah. So these guys are good at rushing the passer. Like, if you had these guys, and let's just say you put them on other teams and their job was to rush the quarterback, I think they'll do a good job. The issue is them in coverage. So this is a bad matchup to me, based on the fact that you have a team that loves to throw the football in Matthew Stafford. And you know what I'm saying? You have and Sean McVay likes to dial it up. I think that is a bad matchup. And we know that they like to put Cooper Kupp, let him work on the slot, a little bit on the outside. You know, they're going to try to find those mismatches. And I just think that if you have these linebackers trying to run with guys like Cooper Kupp, I think it's going to be a long day. And also look for a bounce back game from Allen Robinson. Don't be surprised if they put him in the slot. But Allen Robinson needs to understand something. The same thing that Odell Beckham Jr. had to understand. This is Cooper Kupp's team, and you're the number 2 guy. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Like, you can't come in here and say I'm the number 1 guy because you're not anymore. In Chicago, you were the number 1 guy, right? In Jacksonville, you were the number 1 guy. Thus, you got the contract in Chicago. You're not the number 1 guy now. So, in the words of The Rock, you got to know your role and shut your mouth and just handle your business. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he has to do. And if he does that, I think he's going to be extremely productive. I think Cooper Kupp, you know, going to go over, he have about 1,200 yards, but you can have like 900 yards, close to 1,000 yards too, if you just play your role. But you're not the number 1 guy anymore.
100% agree. And I see in the chat, which I was trying to put out there, AJ Terrell, I know he's getting a lot of love by a lot of these statistical people and stuff like that. AJ Terrell has not arrived in my book. He has.
Ooh, wow.
And I'm ready.
Elaborate.
I want to see more out of AJ Terrell of what they're trying to put, because Atlanta Falcon fans, they holding this guy up like he, you know what I'm saying, top, and they try to talk about the NFC South. They talking about top 5 in the NFL. And you know, coming out starting off the season with the performance he put up there, it ain't a good start. I'm just gonna say that to say the least. I mean, like I said, I went back and specifically looked at AJ Terrell because that's the one player I keep on being told about. It was the most pretty thing I ever seen. Like I said, he doesn't get his hand balled much. Is he around the wide receiver constantly? He is.
Yeah.
But for some reason, and maybe that's why they're grading him as high as they do, because he stays with the receiver, but he can never make a play on the ball, be it a pass breakup or an interception.
Yeah,
I need to see more of that. You know what I'm saying? If Atlanta's even going to have a chance in this matchup, because he's going. I think they're going to put AJ Terrell and have him chase Cooper Kupp. Didn't they do that for the most part against y'all? I mean,
yeah, they did.
So you know, I don't see that changing here. So once again, AJ Terrell's going to have another chance, especially in my book, to see what the hell he got. Right?
Yeah.
So I am going to take the Rams in this matchup, and you know, I'll be very shocked. It might be a different, you know, talking thing, you know, when us NFC South come back and talk about this at a later date.
Well, let me say this final statement about that. When you look at guys like Mike Evans, look at guys like Cooper Kupp, Michael Thomas, they got one of the biggest advantages in the National Football League. They're not going to be lined up across from a guy that's going to be better than the guy they line up against at practice. more times than not. I mean, Cooper Kupp lining up against Jalen Ramsey. Like, regardless of him getting smoked these last couple of games, you got to give credit where credit is due. He's top 5 corner in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Alton Davis, you know what I'm saying? Mike Evans going up against him. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Top 5, top 10, wherever you want to put him at. Marshawn Lattimore, Michael Thomas, you know what I'm saying? Like top 5, top 10, wherever you want to put him at. These guys are going up against elite corners every single day. So nobody, like, he don't have the field guide in him because AJ Terrell coming into town. Heck, you know what I'm saying? You're not having a field guy when Marshawn Lattimore coming into town or Carlton Davis because you're going up against the best of the best in the league every single day. And he's getting you.
They know what you do.
Yeah. So
they're going to line up and give you everything they got.
Exactly. So that was my final point. You know, like AJ Terrell and Jalen Ramsey, regardless of Jalen Ramsey's previous performances, he's still not not even in the same district as this dude. Not right now, at least. I like him. I think he has upside. I think he has capabilities, but he's not there yet. Not yet.
All right, Falcon fans, don't kill the messenger because we've been saying it for years now about y'all Falcon. Listen, just let the man ride. I understand y'all don't have a lot of players y'all can really hold up. Yeah. Y'all want to hold up AJ Terrell in our faces and these chats, blogs, Twitter, all that stuff. Pump your brakes. Just pump your brakes. It's from me and my boy, Mr. TJay Jones. But before we go, I'm gonna play a video.
Okay, go ahead. Oh man,
we're gonna play it. I'm gonna let the video talk for itself.
What y'all think about the best receiver in the division?
Yeah,
what y'all think
Slam
about
Boy?
the best?
Oh yeah, Slam Boy. I mean, he's not really even back yet, is he?
Winston on 1st and goal to the end zone. Touchdown, Michael Thomas.
He done lost a couple steps, bro. I didn't watch him in the practice.
Winston, soft touch. It's Thomas.
He done lost a couple steps, bro. I didn't watch him in the practice.
On 2nd down, Winston fires. It is caught. Thomas again.
Slam Boy? Oh yeah, Slam Boy. I mean, he's not really even back yet, is he?
Winston throws, end zone, touchdown. It's Thomas again.
He done lost a couple steps, bro. He done lost a couple steps, bro. He done lost a couple steps, bro. I didn't watch him in the practice.
Shouts out to CB, man. Shouts out to my guy CB, man. Who That Nation chat line. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my guy, man.
I'll be checking. Yeah, so shout out to him, man. That's another partner. Yeah. Definitely gonna be on that show. We're gonna probably chop it up a little bit. This is Saints Tampa Bay talk, so I got it all day. Yeah. Listen. All right, so shout out to my boy Sean J too. You're gonna start seeing us. He's gonna be doing a lot of features here on the NFC South versus.
Yeah, shouts out to Sean J, man.
Yeah, he's gonna start coming on here. He's just getting his feet back wet. You know, I had to show them. You know, I've been doing this for a little while, so I went on that show. I had people with the Saints telling me, "Man, you killed it."
Yeah,
I appreciate all the love and everything like that.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great show. That was great content. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it. But I was like, whoa. That's my guy. But I gotta get him, man. Oh, but go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You got me, man. It was clever wordplay, man. It was everything, man. You had me cracking up. I ain't gonna lie. You caught a point. You know, I made some other points there, but you used that perfectly. Yeah. Now, to the whole Michael Thomas fiasco that went on in that damn little video you put together. Mm-hmm. Listen, CB came out the side of his mouth, okay?
Wait, whoa.
Hey, let me set this up.
Okay? All right.
And said, how y'all feel about the best receiver in the NFC South? First, I thought he said the NFL. I think that's what I heard first. And I'm like,
okay.
Man, really just said that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what? Stop. You know what I'm saying? That's why I came off the way I kind of did. But even with that being said, like, all right, Mike. Excuse me. I see you got me messing up now because that part, TJay, with the return of Michael Thomas, do you think, as it stands today, I just want to know from another person because we didn't really break it down when we were in there. Do you honestly, like I said today, Michael Thomas is the best receiver in the NFC South? It don't mean it's not good. Like I said, I'm not. Look,
Do I think he's the best wide receiver in NFC South? Yes, I do. Because here's the thing. Like I'm gonna tell you why. And then I'm telling you, you know me. I am not like I love the Saints, but I'm objective. I think a lot of people don't give this dude his credit because of what you said. Call him slant boy. But people aren't saying why he was running slants. Drew Brees, towards the twilight of his career, couldn't throw the ball past 20 yards. You've seen it. How many times did we see Taysom Hill come into the game throwing them punts? I call them punts because, you know what I'm saying, you throw them ball 50 yards, they just nailed. They look like Deontay Hardy, you know what I'm saying, a Devin Hester back there about to catch that thing. But how many times did we see Taysom Hill come into the game trying to throw the ball deep, underthrowing receivers? There's a reason for that. There was a reason why Jameis came into the game in the divisional round through the pass to Traquan, because Drew couldn't get the ball down the field. If Michael Thomas is running a 9 route, and for those that don't know, that's a streak route, is running straight down the field, straight line speed, right? Let the first man to the goal line. Mm-hmm. What would be the point of that? He ain't getting the ball. You know it, because Drew Brees ain't gonna do that. What you seen in that comeback, you didn't see no quick slants. You seen about a 15, 20-yard dig. You seen, you know what I'm saying, a fade route. You seen, you know what I'm saying, a back shoulder fade. So that right there shows you that he has more, you know what I'm saying, he got more in the clip. But you need a quarterback to be able to bring that out. When you had talk about a guy like Mike Evans, which, you know what I'm saying, I put him up there too. You know what I'm saying? He definitely reaching legendary status. But how many times did he have you know what I'm saying, he had Jameis throwing them deep passes down the field. He was able to, you know what I'm saying, to utilize like every route in the route tree because he had a quarterback that was capable throughout his career, rather you guys were winning or not, rather you was in the playoffs or not, he was able to get his numbers because he had a quarterback that was capable of getting him the ball to the spot no matter where he go. Michael Thomas did not have that luxury. And the fact that he had 1,700 yards and 149 receptions the last time he was fully healthy, when you had a quarterback that wasn't capable of giving you the ball past 20 yards on a consistent basis like most NFL quarterbacks can, you got to say, you know what I'm saying, he basically used what he had in order for him to be in this position. The fact that we're talking about Michael Thomas as being one of the best, if not the best in the NFC South, speaks volumes to the talent and ability that he possessed. And like I said, if you watched him his rookie year before you start to see the decline of Drew Brees' arm strength, you'll see. Like, he wasn't just running quick slants. I mean, he was like getting behind the defense. They had him like, you know what I'm saying, running like deeper posts down the field. So he's capable of doing it. And I think that with Jameis Winston as the quarterback, I think you're going to see more of what Michael Thomas has to offer. And I think that the stigma of him being quote unquote slant boy is going to slowly start to wane away. I mean, I just feel that way. I just think that he was just doing what he could because that was what was required. And that's what all that he could possibly do because there was no need of throwing a ball. I mean, going past 20 yards when you know you ain't going to get it. So,
okay.
That's just the way I feel about it. But yeah, I do. I honestly feel like he the best wide receiver in the NFC South. No disrespect to like Mike Evans or anything like that, or Julio Jones, who's been a legend. But I'm just saying, as this dude is special. This dude is more special than people give him credit for. And his style is boring. You know what I'm saying? His style is boring. And we know it's about style and pizzazz. We watched people like Tyreek Hill. We watched Antonio Brown in years past. We watched those guys, right? Because they were exciting. They was able to do all these different things. Michael Thomas, route running, building, and the way he plays the game isn't as exciting as those guys. But, I mean, you need those type of guys too, and they're just as productive.
Yeah. I don't agree with this.
I wouldn't expect you to.
I understand what you're saying, right? Like I said, I'm not objective. Like I said, I'm not one of those people just because I don't like, you know, like once again, I probably got to explain it to your chat more than I got to explain it to you. Mm-hmm. I ain't out here just blowing smoke just because I want to, right? Yeah. I just don't do that, you know. But once again, like the great Brian Dawkins said back in the day, the best ability is availability, right? So over the last 2 years, Michael Thomas, for whatever reason it was, being that, you know, he decided the ankle surgery, whatever the case, not do a surgery, to do a surgery, he decided not to do that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mike Evans continues to be available. It doesn't matter 2014 when he first got into the league. I mean, this man had players like Josh McCown, Mike Glennon throwing him the ball. Man stood up, put up, double-digit touchdowns along with a 1,000-yard season. And it's been a running theme for him for over 8 seasons now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this man, no matter what, every single year shows up and does what he do. I'm not taking nothing away from Michael Thomas and what he has done in his career. But again, you are now bringing a post Michael Thomas that we don't know what post Michael Thomas without Drew Brees. I understand what he looked his rookie year. But now he's on a surgically put together ankle, which I don't know if you are seeing the same thing I saw. I'm not saying he lost a step or anything. He looks a little different right now. Maybe he's still trying to get back up to speed to what he was back in 2019 when he put up that incredible year. You know what I'm saying? But once again, can we allow that to really happen? You know what I'm saying? Mike Evans has played with Jameis Winston when he was trying to figure out the NFL. He's played with Ryan Fitzpatrick while, Dirk Carr was trying to figure out if he want to play Jameis or Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know what I'm saying? This all happened, and Mike Evans is still the player that's available for these guys to shine. He's always had, he had other players. He had Vincent Jackson. He had Deshaun Jackson. He had, other players out there to complement, and he still put up his numbers. You know what I'm saying? He still did what he needed to do. He went out there, was a big threat. Defenses always respected him. I don't know. I just don't know. And I think Mike Evans, like you talk about the slant boy stigma, I think Mike Evans gets a bad rap because he isn't the high volume player, because he does do a lot more down the field than, underneath routes. You know what I'm saying? You don't see him run a lot of, like I said, underneath routes, like, go out, from a curl to, over routes and things like that. You don't see him running that stuff. You see him, corners, posts, outs, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I think because he doesn't run the entire route tree, he gets a little bit of that stigma. Yeah. Many Saints fans want to say the same thing about, Michael Thomas, but when it comes to Mike Evans, it is a biasness that comes with it, and not maybe with you, but I've seen it through, Who Dat Nation with that whole just noise. And
well, look, I think that it's just that competitive banter, DJ. I think people respect Mike Evans and they know what he's capable of. But I will say this, and that's a fair point that you had when you talk about like some of the things and the battles that he's been through, but he's still putting up those 1,000-yard seasons. But then now we're talking about the battle of attrition. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, if we're talking about the battle of attrition, I think it would, give him the advantage. But you also have to take into account Mike Evans came into the league before he did. The fact that,
What is this, Michael Thomas 6th year?
Yeah. He came into the league, a couple of years before you did, right?
16, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he came into the league before him. So, I mean, he's had a little bit of a head start. I'll give you – and I'll say, I watched Mike Evans his entire career from Texas A&M when he was rolling with Johnny Manziel. But I know that, he's a beast. But you talk about those different quarterbacks, but I can say the same thing. Michael Thomas, NFC Offensive Player of the Year, campaign, came back in 2019. Drew Brees was hurt. That's the year Teddy Bridgewater came into the game and he won those 5 games. You also had Taysom Hill, that came in and played. And he still, in his production, never wavered. So I do understand that we have to see what he's capable of, but I do feel like you have to be fair about this, though, because Mike Evans has been dealing with hamstring issues, and people have been kind of writing him off, man, that hamstring every single year, what's going to happen with him. But he still continues to, rewrite his own history. So I think these guys, like, if you think about it, and I know we don't, but there's a lot of like similarities in what these guys are going through right now. Like Mike Evans kind of went through it, and now, he has an established quarterback. He has the legendary Tom Brady. And now you have Michael Thomas kind of going through the same thing. Like now he has to figure it out. Is Jameis the quarterback? Will Jameis be able to give him the ball in order for him to be as productive as Mike Evans? Who knows? So I can't say, Mike Evans is just that much better. I just think that Mike Evans had an opportunity to play with quarterbacks that's going to force him a football regardless. They're going to force it. They're going to be able to get him the ball when you get behind defenders. If Michael Thomas could do some of those things and he had a quarterback that was capable of giving him the ball when he get behind defenses and running deep down the field, then I feel like he would be able to do that. But the fact that Mike Evans throughout his career had a quarterback, rather they were slow or not, it was able to get him the ball. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, you know what I'm saying? He going to get the style points, and he also going to get the battle of attrition. And, of course, you know, I say this, DJ, and I pass it back to you. I had shouts out to my guy, Dr. Jesse Moyes. He's a orthopedic surgeon. He's worked on, like, so many different guys. I mean, from, you know, some of the most legendary wide receivers in the NFL, players in the NFL. And he broke down what Michael Thomas was going through. He had ligament damage. He was talking about how the possibility of, you know, why he didn't get surgery and he tried to rehab it, he could have developed arthritis. So I will say that, you know what I'm saying? We don't know. But he looked explosive to me. I mean, in real time, he looked explosive to me. I think a lot of those passes had a lot to do with the fact that him and Jameis weren't on the same page. There was a couple of passes that he tried to get to him. It was behind him. One of those passes, I will say this, he threw it behind Michael Thomas, so the safety won't take his head off. So that was kind of him protecting that. But I think it had a lot to do with the fact that they weren't on the same page. So as time goes on, hopefully they can get on the same page and we can see Michael Thomas, you know, really empty the clip and show the people that he still deserves to be among the top 10 in the National Football League. But that's not a knock on Mike Evans. Look, I don't care if you're a Falcon. I don't care if you're a Buck. I recognize greatness, and you have to give credit where credit is due. Mike Evans is an extraordinary, very talented wide receiver, but I just feel like at this stage and at this time, I feel like Michael Thomas is the better wide receiver.
But I'm going to say this, it's a hot take right here. Michael Thomas won't get 1,000 yards, and I'm going to tell you why. You got players like Juwan Johnson, why I always know Jameis always has a tight end that he's going to fall in love with, right?
Right.
I mean, you got Chris Olave, you know, you got Jarvis Landry, which we did see a connection, especially deep, because like I'll continue to say, Jameis throws one of the best deep balls.
Oh yeah,
any quarterback in the NFL.
Beautiful.
I will continue to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Jarvis Landry right now, they got that connection.
Mm-hmm.
Could it maybe be next year that they maybe do it? But I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Thomas falls a little short. Is because the players I got around that is gonna speak to that, because I do see Michael Thomas staying around what his median is, which is around 11 to 11 and a half yards per reception. Even if he catches 80 balls, that's 880 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't think he's gonna get over 1,000 yards. He might, and that might still be a really good season. But I'll tell you this though, he'll probably get over 10 touchdowns this year. Yeah, I will give you that, because once again, he's shown what he can do in the red zone, and Jameis saw that. Yeah, Jameis is gonna look for him in the red zone, and that's where he's gonna make his money this year for y'all. And that's just how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's fair. But here's the thing: we don't need him to be 1,700-yard Michael Thomas. In 2019, DJ, there was a 61 reception difference between him and the next receiver. 61.
Oh yeah, I saw.
He was the guy. He was the passing game. Him and Alvin Kamara were the passing game. Yep. So if you can go back to 2016, where he had Brandon Cooks and he was like 1,100, and you had like 9 touchdowns, I'm cool with that. You know, like you got Chris Olave, you got Jarvis Landry, you got Juwan Johnson, you got some talented guys that are capable of making plays. So you don't have to do it on your own. So if your production slips, but you're still productive, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, you still eating and you're still winning. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully. You know what I'm saying? So what are you complaining about? You know, like
he's still in that slam boy category. That's all it is. Because that 11, that's like tight end numbers. Man, but I was messing with you, man.
He had 1,200 yards. 1,200 yards that didn't involve a slant over those 1,700 yards in 2019. Look, it is what it is. Okay, we're going to agree to disagree. Only time will tell.
I appreciate you, my dog, man.
Hey, man, thank you, man.
Hey, before we even got on here, we on an hour, almost going an hour and a half. You know how we do. We went an hour earlier today. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's never 10 minutes. It's never 5. Like, I'm going to talk to you for a minute. Like, you know, man, ain't never going to be a minute. You know what I'm saying? 55 minutes to an hour every time. But, man, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you. I appreciate the chat. Hey, Doodoo Dat Nation. We talking shit this week, dog. Y'all don't know who they. Y'all Doodoo Dat Nation right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear none of that.
Man, hey, man.
I'll tell you right now, we're going to get in that ass.
Hey, bring out the LED lights, you know what I'm saying, for the basement game. We got to find them, man. We got to go to the basement to get them, man.
And I got plenty of
Put out the LED lights.
I got plenty of clippers. Clip it. Clip it. I ain't scared.
Hey, clip it.
I hope, y'all enjoy this. I hope you enjoy this. Like I said, me and my boy Mike, we bring the same type of energy. I hope y'all come Wednesday nights, 9 to 9:30. If y'all just want to come by for a little bit, show a little love, put your little who that in there, leave, whatever the case may be. We'll appreciate it. It's all love, man. At the end of the day, man. Like I said, me and my boy Mike, TJay know this. We're very knowledgeable. You can see it with the conversation. Yeah. We gonna get it.
Hey, some of them didn't even see Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah.
That's
we're gonna get back together. You can get TJay together with Mike.
Yeah.
Or CB. You know what I'm saying? Now we got that connection now. Yeah. It'll be one of them. And I hope y'all come by and show some more love and we have fun when the Panthers play. Like we got 2 matchups. We gonna this couch stuff is gonna be around. We ain't going nowhere.
Hopefully a couch thing ain't in January. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a part of the couch thing and
we ain't gonna be
I don't need to be sitting on any type of couch. But no, seriously, make sure y'all hit that like button. I know now, and I appreciate this. I see a lot of members of the Who Dat Nation came over. I see some Bucs fans, some Carolina Panther fans. Man, hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe. Don't just enjoy the content. I'm saying a lot of positive feedback. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you like what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Don't just. I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying?
That goes for even a couple people we got. Look, this is a reboot for us, right? Because me and TJay and Mike, we try. And maybe next time I might have a couple clips from my old. When I used to be in the closet, our dark ass videos we had looking like we had a dungeon and shit, recording. Man, like I said, man, we go back, man. And I think I'm gonna clip a couple just for the future and stuff like that. Yeah. But man, like I said, I love you, man, and I appreciate everything you did for us, and we're gonna keep on keeping this going, man.
Yeah, man. Man, y'all do a really great
job.
Bring
Mike in here, man. In fact, bring Mike in for at least they can see what the hell Mike.
At least bring Mike in. Mike, man, come on, man. But I mean, look, man, we've been chopping it up, you know what I'm saying, and been doing this for like quite some time. And like I said, I always enjoy spending time with y'all, talking with y'all, and talking about football, man. And look, the sky's the limit between y'all knowledge and love and passion for your teams and the NFL as a whole. A staff of Record Label and Mother Loving Crew. Y'all gonna be all right.
There go Mike. Give him a little love. Give my boy Mike a little love.
Yeah, Mike Riggs, man. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, much love. Hey, man, DJ tried to play me, man. DJ tried to play me, TJ. You know good and heck well I ain't picked up Giants. I'm too proud for that. I was going there. Hey, y'all see the video. I almost went there, though. But I couldn't do it.
Oh man, I'm glad you did, man. No, don't do that, man. It ain't that bad. Y'all got some promise out there, man. Y'all got some promise. It ain't picking Giants time yet. You know what I'm saying? It ain't hit that yet. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a little hot because I took the Carolina Panthers last week. I knew why the Cleveland Browns were going to win. They did exactly that. So I'm a little hurt for that.
8 straight. All I can say is 8 straight. We done lost 8 straight. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna bounce back.
He's the basement dwellers right here.
Yeah. The Falcons, the basement dwellers. You know what I'm saying? I think I see it. Look, I think they had y'all on top of them. So they definitely they in the basement. They down there. You know what I'm saying?
I hope so. I hope so. I don't trust the coaching, man. Yeah. That's where it's at for me. The talent is there. The players are there. I've been riding with Matt Rule for a long time, and I'm still trying to ride TJ. He a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
It's just, man, sometimes, man, he just seems like he's too over his head, man. It's just
wilding out.
Hey, great. I think like some guys are like really good college coaches. You know what I'm saying? They can give them rah-rah speeches, and I mean, I remember like when he first got hired, and I remember, man, I'm like, man, I want to play for this kid. I mean, this guy. You know what I'm saying? I want to play for him. You know what I'm saying? The way he was talking. But like sometimes, man, look, we seen it with like Urban Meyer. We seen it with Nick Saban. You know, like those guys. You know, there's levels to this. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between leading young kids, young men, and actually leading men. I think who was that? Who said that? I think it was Keyshawn Johnson said. He says it's different. He said when you talking to a guy that got car seats in the back of his truck, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different, you know. So you know, you gotta approach it. Yeah,
everybody can be careful.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, but who knows, man? I mean, the season is young.
Yeah,
you know, we've seen this movie before. Like I think about the New Orleans Saints. They beat the Green Bay Packers in week 1. What they beat them 38-3. Right. Green Bay Packers were the number 1 seed going into the the playoffs. So you can't like I know some people like to overreact, but you can't allow week 1 to decide the fate of your team this early. I mean, teams change. They you know, I can even think about if we're talking about the Carolina Panthers. This was the year I think y'all won a division. Well, I think maybe the year before y'all went to the Super Bowl, but it was like y'all had like a couple games y'all lost, and then y'all just started like firing them things off. Y'all went on like this magical winning streak. You know what I'm saying? And a couple of years ago with the New Orleans Saints, I think it was 2017, and they, you know what I'm saying, they lost like 2 straight games, and then they won 8 straight. You know what I'm saying? Tampa, after that bye week, you know what I'm saying, that y'all went to the Super Bowl, right? Y'all, you know what I'm saying, up and down. Then all of a sudden, y'all didn't lose another game. So there's always that little stretch where it's like, I don't know about this team. And then all of a sudden the light comes on and you're like, okay, man, I got something I can be fired up about. Unless you're Falcons, and then there's no hope for you.
Yeah, man. I think we're gonna be all right, man. We got the talent. I think we just need to win.
Yeah.
We need one. So
there go TJay. He's like back in the day. You always try to breathe life into this for Mike.
Yes.
That's my guy, man. Look, that's my guy, man. That's my guy, man.
TJay, don't do me like that, man. I'm shooting bad, man. I ain't used to this. I'm shooting bad. You got to remember, we were the first team to go 3-peat.
Yeah,
and then the Saints did it like right after that, right? So we didn't get to keep it long.
Wipe that off.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm used to that, man. I ain't used to this. This is bad, man. I'm in your territory. This is Buck territory. This is Bucks territory. This is where they be at.
You call what you want, but microwave society we live in, y'all just like what TJay been saying, some slaw, okay? This is now what, 3-4 years now running?
Yeah,
Matt Rule, 5-10 wins in 2 years. Back up off my Buccaneers. We got that in 1 season. You gotta love it, baby.
Hey, even the worst basketball player can win a game of 21. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you be on the park, and then, you know what I'm saying, you got some guys out there that can play, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, the worst player out there throw up some luck and might end up winning because nobody paying attention. Yeah, that's the
right.
It's all right. It's all right.
Oh man, how many points he had?
About the Saints history now. Let's not forget about the Saints pre-Katrina, Sean Payton, and Drew Brees.
Oh man,
let's not act like everybody ain't got that time.
Them brown paper bags.
Hey,
you gonna eat it.
Hey, I ain't know nothing about no brown paper bag. I ain't never put one on my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I mean, yeah, that was the thing. But everybody has those moments. Everybody goes through those little dry spells. You know what I'm saying? But look, I'm glad we ain't gotta go through them no more like that. You know what I'm saying? That was some rough times.
Well, I'm going through it.
And I'm not letting y'all take me back to what I had to deal with for 13 years, man. Forget that. I'm done with that.
Well, I hope it's not 13. I pray that. God, Lord, please don't let it be 13.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough.
Yeah. That's rough times right there, man.
I'm my boys, man, for real.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
my boys.
Love to y'all, man.
Hey, great show, by the way. That was a great show, great content, fellas.
Yeah. We're gonna do this again sometime this season. We're gonna figure it out. CB, I saw you in there. You next, brother. You next. I'm coming over there next. Or Mike said, Mike, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet.
Man said he gonna pull up with all the smoke. That what he
said. He ready.
Either one, it don't matter. Somebody eat crow next week and it ain't gonna be me.
We'll see. We'll see.
And then we got the Saints next week.
We definitely gonna be coming. It's gonna be a straight turnaround, Mike. So you better be ready.
We gotta get this. Be ready. We gotta get this one. We got it.
Division game, gentlemen. Division games. Like if we talk about the Jets or we talk about some of these other teams that we know gonna be slow, like that'll be one thing. But division games, we know.
I know.
It's pick 'em. I don't care how bad the team is. It's pick 'em. every single time.
Yeah,
I can't jump out the window. I don't care. Like I'm going to forever be shocked if a division rival like just beats the brakes off the other one. Like I will be shocked because it rarely ever happens, especially in this division. Like this division, like no matter what the schedule is, I mean, no matter what the records is, I should say, like everybody still kind of plays each other tough, and blowouts are very few and far in between.
Wait a minute. I thought there was a Saints Bucks game that was like 30-something-3.
Yeah, but that's a rarity.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's man, come on, man. Like let's just be real. Like since Tom Brady, because since Tom Brady came, that's when you start to like kind of see those blowouts. I mean, I can remember the State of the Saints podcast was started because of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Y'all beat the Saints 48-40 or something like that?
Yeah,
the
season before that, we beat y'all with Jameis.
Exactly.
Yeah. The last game of the season, we beat y'all. We brought y'all back to back. You know, now Tom Brady want to come here. Now everything want to fall apart against the Saints. You know what I'm saying?
That's why he back. I'm telling you, that's why he's back. That's on his checklist. Tom Brady is like that, man.
That's why he's back. That's what I said, Mike. I said when you have the smartest kid in the class and he finishing his homework before everybody and he finishing his assignment for everybody, the teacher got to find ways to keep him stimulated, keep him, keep him going. When you're the best of the best, you got more Super Bowls, you got more touchdowns, you got more yards. You got to find other things to keep you interested. The Saints, having this number over the last couple of years is the incentive. That's the reason why he back. I don't care if whatever Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, they may smack their lip. Man, that ain't true. He back for another Super Bowl. It may be. But the Saints, that's a motivation too. Especially when people like been saying like he has put up some of the worst numbers statistically in his career against that team. So he wants to rectify that.
Facts, and that's
why he's a perfectionist.
Trouble on Sunday.
And
we'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see.
We definitely gonna see, man.
We'll see.
I know we on here hour 30. We chopping it up. Like I said, we'll run this for
another hour. Like I said, I don't think anybody cares. I mean, they seem like they're having a good time in the chat. I mean, a lot of positive feedback, man. Loving it. Loved it.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, since I'm gonna just do my pick real quick since I have y'all on this game.
Okay.
This can go anyway. I've been waiting for this one, y'all.
Go anyway.
I saw positives in both of these. Yo, Taysom Hill is a playmaker, man.
Yeah.
He is a playmaker. He is just a guy you can put anywhere and just put the ball in his hands and just let him make a play. Yeah. It's great to have that dynamic out there. It's a skill position. It's a weapon. So him, I don't know what's going on with Kamara. That's the thing, TJ. Is he injured? Is he nicked up? I didn't understand why he didn't get many carries this past week. He got about 9 carries or something like that?
Yeah, because they fell behind. They fell behind late that game. Yeah. So, you had to throw the running game out the window. It's catch-up time now. But look, the most positive thing about this, Mike, before you get to your prediction, is the fact that they didn't need him to win this game. Yeah. They didn't need him to be a part of the passing game. They didn't need him to be a part of the running game, and they still found a way to win. This has been his show. He has been Mr. 88 or 81 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like 80, I want to say 88 receptions throughout his career. You know what I'm saying? The first 3 seasons of his career. And now you have a bunch of guys that are capable of making plays. Man, this has been something that the Saints needed for years, right? They had a bunch of fundamentally sound guys. They'll find a soft spot in the defense in the little zone, and you know what I'm saying? They'll probably catch the ball. But now you got some guys, man, throw that thing up there and we're going to come down with it. You know what I'm saying? So now you don't have to rely so much on Alvin Kamara. Now he's a luxury. Taysom Hill, now he's a luxury. Now you don't have to just depend on those guys to make plays in order for you to have success. You got so many ways you can distribute the ball. You mentioned Juwan Johnson, DJ. You got Chris Olave. He has time to develop. He don't have to rush and try to be the X guy, because you got 2 capable wide receivers already. So, man, the sky's the limit. I came away from that game like, Alvin Kamara wasn't really involved, and they still won. So imagine what's going to happen when he really starts to get fully involved. It's going to be dangerous to watch.
And that's exactly what I was getting to, because I looked at the Taysom Hill, I looked at Johnson, I saw Chris Olave make a couple plays here and there. Michael Thomas. One thing about me, man, I'm a former wide receiver. So one thing you got to be able to do is run routes and have great hands. This man got some of the best hands in the league. His catch percentage is out of this world. And that's unbelievable. Like some of them catches, man, one thing, if he didn't show you all the blazing speed and all that, he showed you he got them hands. He definitely showed you he got them hands. And then Jarvis Landry doing what he's doing. That's the beauty of this offense, because it had to be heavy on Alvin Kamara and heavy on Michael Thomas. Those were the only weapons that you truly had that were consistent. So now you don't have to worry about any of that. Now Jameis can just pick your poison. And most of the NFL doesn't have that many guys on defense that can match up with that many players. So that's a mismatch nightmare if y'all can utilize this thing right.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. But like I said, I said this at the beginning. I don't put anything past the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or any team. This is a brand new season. And regardless, if you go into the game, like, man, we whoop y'all 31, you know what I'm saying, 38-3 and 9-0. Like, nah, bro. If you go into that with that mind frame, I feel like that's a losing mentality. You should never underestimate your opponent. How many times have we, you know what I'm saying? I can remember time guys walking into the gym, bunch of tall guys, you know what I'm saying? On the football field, bunch of big guys. Like, man, we about to whoop these dudes. And then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, these guys over there trying to get, you know what I'm saying, oxygen and everything like that because they're getting work. So you can never underestimate your opponent. If you feel like you're the best, then go out there and impose your will and just look at that person, that team as your opponent, and not just, oh, we just better than them. If you go into that, you're going to lose. I don't care if you're better than that team or not, you're going to lose, period.
Right. And with all that being said, I know there's a lot of Saints fans in here. I'm picking Tampa Bay to win this football game. And it's because this defense, from what I saw, I liked. Now, I know they didn't get a lot of – I'm telling you, the offensive line that I saw from the Saints allowed Jameis Winston to get sacked about 4 or 5 times.
Good point.
And that defensive line is nowhere near like Tampa's front seven. I know that. So I think it's going to be a problem for them. Jameis, I think, is going to turn the ball over a little bit. I know it's in the dome, but they got their playoff win in the dome. I know y'all about to be mad and fry me, but I think this is the game that Tom's going to get. I do. But he ain't gonna sweep. But I think he's gonna get this one.
Yeah,
his first regular season one.
I would have thought you would have picked the Raymond James one. You know, the fact that they haven't scored a touchdown in 2 seasons.
I'm very shocked at Mike. Which I'm shocked, but you know, I appreciate the love for that. But you know, he has something that he ain't say on his podcast about Santa Jameis that he, you know. He felt like, you know, you got to remember week 2. What happened week 2 of last year?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you gotta put man, but he always struggled to get Carolina, man.
I know. See, that's why I feel the way I feel.
That's why you talking about. Like, he always like that
reason for everything. We kind of. I mean, look,
man, this is so crazy. This is so crazy because I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell it. No, they definitely mad at you.
I know. I knew that. I knew I was gonna get that.
Hey, but I'm gonna tell you why. This is like alternative universe type stuff. Because you remember when we started to do the podcast, Jameis was your quarterback, DJ, right? And you was defending him and said, like, we started talking about the turnovers. You started feeling some type of way. And now it's like, when you started talking about the turnovers, I'm like, God, no, I feel some type of way. God, no.
Right, because I'm telling you.
I feel funny.
You were that same guy.
All right.
I was that guy.
Jameis will never be a single digit. You know, if you play a whole season, I never think he'll be a single digit, but I think he'll be a low team. Yeah. But he's also going to give you them high touchdowns and them high yards that go with it, which I have no problem with from a quarterback's perspective, right? Especially when y'all have a good defense that can mitigate some of that possible, you know. And I mean, look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a double-digit interception quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't mean, that's what I'm saying. I've never been somebody that's been, up in arms about interceptions. Interceptions happen. Some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Look, everybody's not Drew Brees, right? That's just not going to happen through your career. You know, Tom Brady, we talk about him being a GOAT. Go count how many double-digit seasons he got.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that happens. Like I said, it's not a shot at Jameis. Like I said, you already know where I stand with Jameis. But guess what? He going to lose this one this week.
Hey, and that's a good point, because if you look around, I remember I did some math. They said if you combine all the starting quarterbacks in the National Football League, the average of interceptions is about 13. You know what I'm saying? 13 or 14 interceptions per year. If you look at Jameis like career, he averages, you know what I'm saying, that for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like if you knock away that 30 interception season, he's like, And then and also you gotta think about this too. The last 2 Super Bowl champions, Matthew Stafford threw 17 interceptions. Tom Brady in that Super Bowl season, when he threw like 17 or 18 interceptions that year. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't out there just cooking them, you know what I'm saying, cooking them up, and he have single-digit interceptions. So if people like, man, he turned the ball over, like that don't always mean that your team is going to fail or your team not going to be able to get to the promised land, because we've seen this on 2 different occasions. We not only just seen 2 Super Bowl champions winning in their home stadium, we also seen 2 quarterbacks that kind of, you know what I'm saying, changed history, because historically you didn't have them quarterbacks that was going 17, 18 interceptions and winning no Super Bowl. They was like in the single digits, or you know what I'm saying, around 10 or 11. So it's possible, it's obtainable. So I hope he ain't having 17 interceptions. They not gonna allow him to have 17 interceptions. They just not. You know what I'm saying? They had a red rifle out there before they do that. Like seriously, like man, they ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna just sit up there and just let them throw picks like Razor Ramon. You know what I'm saying? They ain't about to do that. You know what I'm saying?
That's a beautiful problem to have too, because he looks sharp. So if something does happen to Jameis, because it's a 17-game season, he looks sharp in that offense.
He's gotten hurt just about almost every year of his career. He fought through a lot, but he's been hurt almost every. Just a passion in what he plays, how he plays. Like I said, the narrative of Jameis, the story of Jameis Winston is a media push agenda. Like I said, maybe we come back at a later date, maybe off season, we might come together and talk about it. But
I know you ain't trying to hear that right now. We ain't trying to be no Jameis defenders over there, right?
Nah,
right. Wait for the season where objectivity come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm not doing that right now, but I'm just saying, maybe in the off season, we might have to debunk some of the bullshit we've heard in the national.
Jameis is a good quarterback.
Which that's one of them.
Yeah, Jameis is a good quarterback, man.
Yes, he is. But this was a good one, man. Like I said, I appreciate you again, TJay, Mike. Thank you for showing your face, man. Now y'all see what we look like. You know, hopefully y'all just come by and stop by and just see what we offering. You know, that's all we really can ask. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you're gonna see us with TJay again. Like I said, we're just getting back. These 3 black men right here got families. You know, we all bought our houses, I think, the same year. You know, in a year, we got. I got a child. I got a daughter that's 4. You got a son that's 2. He got a son that's 5, 6 at this point now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got a young, 3-month-old. Like, you know, we hardworking black men that do this fun as well. You know, because we do it on the phone anyway. Yeah. So
speaking of houses, man, that grass, man, you ain't slick, man. You had a picture with that grass. That grass was so green. I've been trying to get my grass green for months. This man come out here looking like he mowing MetLife Stadium around. I'm like,
I should burn during the summer.
Man,
Mike,
man, that grass was immaculate, man. I'm like, you can lay on that grass and go to sleep. I'm like,
I had it really good. It's still looking good. It's just not looking that good. So it's some work, man. It's some work.
Irrigation.
That man look like he can throw a football in his yard, man.
Yeah, I do got irrigation though.
My damn building won't put irrigation on mine. You got irrigation too, don't you?
Yeah, I got irrigation. Just ain't
so that must be a South Carolina thing. They want to put on the northern side of South Carolina.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all got that good stuff over there, man. Y'all man, I seen that, man. I'm like, man. That man had that Posturepedic grass. I'm like,
he be rubbing it in too. He's like,
I would too. I would too.
That BS, man.
That man needs to make a YouTube channel just for that grass.
Hey, I was working, man. I'm working. I'm still working on it.
Hey, TJay, he learned it from me because I made a lot of mistakes and he jumped on his right when they laid it. I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? He was like, all right, well, when his house was being built, he was like, yeah, first thing I'm gonna do is go to damn, because he knew what happened to mine. Mine burnt immediately.
Oh yeah,
when they laid mine, because I got they you know, I ain't gonna get in my building. I'm not gonna say their name, but you know, I'm right now still fighting it. You know what I'm saying? You know, but yeah, Mike definitely right now at the top. He's out of us three. Yeah,
he lead the division in grass. You know in that division, he leads the
grass. The show ain't football.
Hell no, you better lead in something, goddamn.
We coming. I gotta get my mojo back. We coming. He gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, man. Like I said, we appreciate everybody in the chat that stuck with us for this long, and we see more of y'all. You know, we ain't, like we did last time. We ain't disappearing this time. So, man, salute to everybody in here. Like I said, it's your boy TJay, Tampa Bay Buccaneers all day. You already know what it is.
Yeah.
Boom. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, it's your boy Mike Ricks. Keep pounding, baby. I'm gonna keep trying. Panthers representative.
That's the new slogan. No,
it's the new.
Keep trying. Okay, I got you.
Keep pounding, keep trying. It's depressing over here.
Oh man, TJ Jones, the host of the State of Saints podcast. Turn my hat around real quick. Host of the State of Saints podcast, man. Y'all already know. Thank y'all for being here. NFC South versus NFL, man. DJ Mike, thank y'all for having me. Also, man, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all hit that like button. Y'all subscribe to the channel. You want knowledgeable objectivity. This is the channel for you, okay? And they not only just talk about the NFC South, they talk about the entire NFL, and they're not afraid to talk about some of the topics that a lot of people are afraid to discuss. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm saying? If you had fun tonight, I mean, this is only the tip of the iceberg, what these guys put in all the time, every time they press that live button. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all subscribe. And thank y'all for being here.
Hey, man. Salute to my brothers, man. I appreciate y'all.